Tomb Raider is a game growing up that I just never really played. During this era, I was still into my SNES, and when it came to the PS1 or N64, I was more enthralled by RPGs, Resident Evil, and sports games. My best friend at the time was a huge Tomb Raider fanatic, so by proxy I saw lots and lots of Lara Croft. I was trying to think of something to play and decided, screw it, let's give Tomb Raider a go. Tomb Raider was developed by Core Design and published by Eidos and released on multiple platforms on October 25th of 1996. For the purpose of this review, I'm focusing on the PC version through Steam with some mods featuring quality of life upgrades regarding not using the DOSBox launch, graphical improvements, etc., but the gameplay itself is untouched. Tomb Raider is an action-adventure game with emphasis on exploration. You take control of Lara Croft as she raids tombs for treasures. Early on, Lara is approached by a mercenary named Larson, working for Natla, and hires Lara to find the Scion. From there, your tomb raiding adventures begin. In Tomb Raider, you'll be exploring through a multitude of uniquely crafted levels in areas such as Peru, Greece, Egypt, and even Atlantis. Many of these levels have their own flair and uniqueness about them, with the most memorable for me being the Lost Valley, St. Francis Folly, Cistern, not in a good way, and the Great Pyramid. Tomb Raider solely focuses, in my opinion, on three areas: exploration, platforming, and combat. There are secrets in each level, usually just being various items in hard to reach places, and since the game is exploration based, it's implied to find them in order to get good. Spoiler alert, I missed about 70% of them. The platforming is unique and definitely takes time to get used to. There's precise spacing, timing, and movements required in order to do certain actions. You will climb, short jump, long jump, shimmy, and swim your way through these cavernous perils. Honestly, all this stuff didn't really click for me until I was already more than midway through the game. Lastly, the combat is fairly simple. You start out with handguns, eventually find more powerful weapons, and you blast your way through enemies. It's advised to backstep, side jump, back jump, and roll to avoid the enemy onslaughts, while pumping people full of lead, of course. The graphics of Tomb Raider are impressive for the time. Although in such an exploration-based game, even with graphic mods, you can miss a lot of things in the scenery, but I think that's just a sign of the gaming times. The soundtrack is minimalistic, which I'm actually okay with. Kinda reminds me of Dark Souls in a way. It leaves you to your own thoughts as you continue with your great adventures. The Tomb Raider theme though, what a banger. Now the part that I do have to be a bit critical about, the controls and the difficulty. The controls on the PC are ass. They are not good. I don't care what kind of argument you put forth, keep in mind I am a guy that likes Resident Evil tank controls. So bad controls, so to speak, aren't above me. These just are not good, and it takes a while to get used to. Maybe it's better on consoles, but I don't know. It was a struggle for me to say the least. The difficulty isn't that bad, but when you combine it with the awful PC controls, levels can certainly overstay their welcome and fatigue can quickly set in. This game took way longer than I expected going in, roughly about 2 to 3 hours above the average completion time, but at times it felt like I was never going to beat it. I'd also be remiss if I did not mention that the PC allows you to save and reload whenever, which is a godsend. Apparently on consoles there are limited save crystals throughout the levels. Regardless of controls, that would definitely make the game much more difficult and rage-inducing. All that being said, Tomb Raider was an enjoyable experience. You can catch my grueling playthrough in the description below. I'm also going to be playing through the Unfinished Business expansion. That'll be on my YouTube channel and not on Twitch. All in all, I give Tomb Raider a 7.5 out of 10. It's rough around the edges, and perhaps with some better controls, again at least on PC, I'd consider giving this game maybe an 8. I'll be playing through the rest of the series at some point as I did enjoy my time, even though it was difficult. Shoutouts to Lara's polygons. Until next time.